urban living has become synonymous with limited space and creativity for compact apartments. As cities become more dominated by concrete and steel, there is an exciting, yet unsurprising, rise in interest in embracing the green thumb, even within the constraints of a dense urban environment. Yusuhara Marche adds a fresh perspective to this situation. Building that leaves protagonist to the environment, tries to minimize the existence of architecture to minimize the volume as much as possible, and through that process, people can feel comfortable with the communication of the building. However, Yusuhara Marche maximizes its relation with the environment. Yusuhara's modest building that get away from the coldness of functionalism that is very abstract of Yusuhara Marche. I am background the founder of Atelier Beat, and I am going to talk about my personal thoughts about Yusuhara Marche. Yusuhara Machino Eki is a complex of a market selling local products and a small hotel with 15 rooms. Combining the two different functions via atrium, a new core facility was born for the town of 3,900 in the mountains. Yusuhara is widely known as the town facing a main road used by Sakamoto Ryoma, a high-minded warrior of the region who contributed to the initiation of the big political reform. As an attempt to respect this history, Kengo Kuma uses straw as the material, which is deeply related to chado, which worked as a medium to connect the past with the present. Materiality plays an important role in this conversation with the place. Kuma discusses his preference for wood and natural materials over the use of concrete and steel as the defining materials of modernism. These materials symbolize a style that seeks to erase the diversity of a place. In contrast, wood is intrinsically connected to the land. The use of local materials and wood also led to a different type of transparency than the one provided by glass. This is achieved through the gradual displays of materials, creating a fluid transition between the interior and exterior. However, the question of whether any of today's buildings will be regarded as beautiful in the future is a significant one for all of us. The root of this issue cannot be attributed to a lack of qualified architects, employers with a passion for architecture, or a general public who are uninterested in the subject. However, a consensus on what constitutes architectural beauty is lacking. In the midst of a variety of theories and ideas, the individual is ultimately left to their own subjective taste. Kengo Kuma's design for the wood-intensive Yusuhara Marche remains consistent with his established approach. In the exterior, glass fittings are used for the lower part of the building, including the market's entrance facing the front road, which can be open at any hour of the day, and on top of it come piles of the straw unit, an unprecedented form for a curtain wall. Its horizontal lines and, above all, its materiality make Yusuhara Marche in perfect harmony with the local nature. The material composition, due to the multiple voids and surface irregularities, provides excellent insulation when dry and compact. In this building, the bunch of straw is bound horizontally to the foundation, with which the cut end won't be exposed to rainfalls and will last long. As another device, pivots are set on the steel mullion at the both ends of each thatch unit, so that it can rotate and take in fresh air from outside, which will the maintenance of the thatch easier. It also has very good wind resistance. Straw is also relatively light, which means the support structure can be less robust. In addition, except front facades are cladded with cedar planks, which are harmonical with straw units' color and warm vibe. On the other hand, they create contrast with straw units' rough textured placement. All features aside, by using wood, people can find a friend in the building because wood and humanity have a long history. As humanity was living in the forest, the memory of wood is very long and deep. For the interior, when you open up the entry door, the rich timber is revealed and the double height volume starts to reveal itself. High ceilings create a sense of openness, promoting abstract thinking, creativity, and holistic problem solving. Building on this concept, research shows that spacious, open areas activate brain regions associated with visuospatial exploration and attention. However, Kengo Kuma uses logs of cedar tree with some remained astringent skin. The remain of the astringent was controlled by the pitch of the bark peeler, so that some nuance was added to their texture. Using rough textured materials such as thatch and log, Yusuhara gains a new characteristic. Also, most of the furniture is manufactured with cedar. This creates a contrast against white metal meshes and micro cement in the floor. Entrance area that clad in wood conveys warmth and comfort not only because of its temperature to the touch, but also due to its visual association with natural elements. Natural materials have a timeless appeal, offering textures and warmth that synthetic materials simply can't replicate. Beyond aesthetics, they evoke a sense of permanence and grounding, subtly drawing the outside world indoors to create a comforting retreat within the urban landscape. In a world of synthetic surfaces and fast-paced urban living, natural materials offer a grounding counterbalance that invites relaxation and presence. Moreover, in the entrance area, Kengo Kuma decides to hide vertical load-bearing elements. In the end, Kengo Kuma chooses mirrors so that it could reflect all the greenery and texture of wood from the interior and beyond. However, one of the most commonly cited uses of designing with mirrors is to open up the space. Yusuhara Marche masterfully concealed the columns and walls using mirrors, making the space appear larger than it actually was, by making them appear as if they were not there. Rather than interrupting the beauty of the interior and natural environment with artificial designs, Kengo Kuma in this case simply allow nature to speak for itself. Considering all its features, the biggest feature that attracted me to this project was the use of straw units on the front facade, which is a remarkable feature of Yusuhara Marche. As Mies van der Rohe said, it is a mistake to believe that to understand the problem of modern architecture, it is enough to recognize a necessity for rational solutions. Beauty in architecture, which is a necessity and finality for our time as for past periods, cannot be attained unless we can see beyond the simple utility when we build. We have to get away from the coldness of functionalism.